You're watching News 24 Live. Welcome to our Thursday Super Rugby preview and prediction show. We are previewing round 11 this week with our chief writer from Sport 24, Rob Howing, and editor Garen Lamley. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Garen, I'm going to start with you just to give us a little wrap or preview of the Friday games, starting with the Chiefs versus the Force, followed by the Brumbies versus the Highlanders.
Right, well, Chiefs Force, you'd have to go for the home side fairly convincingly. The Force, they're, I think, on an 8-match losing streak. Lost to the Stormers last weekend, even though it was fairly close. They're heading all the way to Hamilton to play the Chiefs, who are flying high. Really good win for them last week against the Crusaders. Even though the Chiefs have rested a number of their star players in line with sort of the New Zealand Rugby Union's request to rest some of their top All Blacks, they still should be far, far too strong for the Force. I see them picking up an easy five points there. They'll then go to the top of the New Zealand Conference and the overall standings again, extending their lead actually. They're going to be tough to catch. I think they're going to be one of the sure playoff teams. I think that goes without saying. With the Force, for their part, I think they're going to sort of just gradually drop lower and lower in the logs.
What has happened to that team, Garen? I mean, last year they really seemed to sort of make a statement, and that's
yeah, I think a lot of it is C.S. Everson. I'm no fan of C.S. Everson. I think he's rubbish at fly, to be quite honest. I don't know how they've persevered with him for so long. He doesn't seem to add anything creative on attack for them. His kickings have been a little bit wayward and woeful, to be honest. I think they need some fresh blood. They've signed so many foreigners, a lot of them South Africans. So it's not really like your Australian culture there in Perth. I think they're missing something. So they've been the whipping boys a little bit this season, and I sort of see that continuing. So easy win for the Chiefs to open round 11. And in the second game,
Brumbies Highlanders.
Brumbies Highlanders.
I see there's a South African twins, the front of the scrum.
Yeah, the Smith brothers. I don't know too much about them. They're both fairly young. That should be an interesting game. The Brumbies have been a little bit up and down. I still think they're going to be there or first or second in the Australian Conference, mainly because the Australian Conference is so weak this year. The Highlanders, having to travel to Canberra, they don't have a great record, I think, against Australian teams on the road. They've also had to rest a couple of players. I think Aaron Smith, Ben Smith, Fekitoa also all out. So their team
is part of the World Cup rotation.
Again, yeah. I mean, similar to what South Africa have sort of requested the South African teams to do, and not all of them have done it. But the New Zealand seem to be, they've all bought into to what New Zealand Rugby Union have requested. So they've rested a lot of their All Black stars, especially in the back line. So this should be a really good game. I'm actually a little bit torn between who to support here. You think the Brumbies can't be as bad as they were last week. The Highlanders against the Blues last week got off to a rollicking start. They looked like they were sure winners and bonus point winners, but then in the second half, I think they only scored a penalty, and they actually ended up with 3 tries, didn't even pick up the bonus point after leading 24-0 after about as many minutes. So I think it's going to be a tough game for the Highlanders. I'm actually I'm leaning towards the Brumbies sort of upsetting the Highlanders if it is an upset at home. But again, fairly close. 7 or 8 points at absolute most. I wouldn't be surprised if the Highlanders actually picked up a losing bonus point. But yeah, 2 interesting games to kick off the weekend.